snow fell like sifted ash against the midnight glow of the city. In the narrow throat of an alley, a woman in a wool coat stood still, her breath catching at the sight before her. A man, tall but bent low, rummaged through a trash bin not like a thief, but like a mourner digging through graves. His beard was rough, his coat threadbare, but in his hands he clutched not food, not bottles, but a child's mitten, red, frayed, damp with the alley's rot. He pressed it to his face and whispered, voice cracked, "It still smells like her." Evelyn Hart, CEO of Hart Industries, did not yet know why her chest hurt at the sound. She only knew she could not walk away. And so the story began. The city that Christmas Eve sparkled with cruel brilliance. Towers of glass gleamed like crystal, music floated from warm stores, and lovers clasped mittened hands. But Evelyn's steps were quiet, her driver dismissed for the night. The boardroom still rang in her head. Champagne glasses, hollow laughter, words about markets and mergers. Yet none of it filled the silence in her chest. She walked, letting the cold bite her cheeks, letting the solitude weigh heavy. All her life, she had learned to walk alone. Wealth built palaces, but never homes. That was when she heard it. The clang of a bin, a muffled groan. She turned into the alley. There he was. At first she thought him another vagrant, but his searching was too fierce, too deliberate. He wasn't scavenging, he was hunting. A toy car slipped from his pocket and skittered across the ground, coming to rest against her boot. She stooped, lifting it gently. The plastic wheels were chipped, painted stars rubbed nearly away. When he looked up, his eyes startled her. Hazel flecked with amber, guarded yet unbearably tender. He stood, straightening his shoulders though shame weighed them. I was looking for something I lost. She should have nodded, should have walked away. Yet the toy car in her hand burned with warmth. What was it? She asked softly. His voice faltered. He drew the mitten from his pocket. It was my little girl's. I thought it was gone. I thought, his throat closed. He looked down. I thought maybe finding it again might keep her near. Her breath caught. What's her name? Rose. His lips shaped it reverently. She's 7. Social services took her after I lost work, after her mother died. I had nothing left but love, and love didn't pay rent. Evelyn felt the words like glass beneath her skin. She saw him, Daniel Mercer, he would later tell her, not as a beggar but as a father clinging to fragments. The mitten trembled in his hands. And for reasons she could not name, Evelyn did not walk away. Inside her chest, memories stirred. Christmas mornings in her childhood mansion. Trees lit like ballrooms, but no mother to lift her, no father to hold her. Just gifts stacked high, ribbons masking absence. She had built empires from that emptiness. She had become the woman no one could wound. Yet this man's trembling over a mitten seemed stronger than her entire kingdom of glass. She whispered, "It's Christmas Eve. You shouldn't be alone." He almost laughed, but it broke halfway. "I've been alone every day since she left." The snow pressed heavier, silence falling like judgment. Evelyn made a decision that surprised herself. "There's a shop still open," she said. "Come." The bell above the door chimed as they entered a coffee shop, warm light spilling over pine garlands. Carols hummed from a distant speaker. A young barista blinked at their strange pairing. Evelyn in tailored coat, Daniel in worn boots, but said nothing. Evelyn ordered coffee for herself, cocoa for him. They sat in a corner booth, the mitten placed carefully between them, as though it were a sacred relic. The silence was not cruel. It was heavy, yes, but alive. Evelyn studied the lines of his face, the scar along his brow, the hollowness of hunger etched there. Yet beneath it all burned something steady, something unbroken. Finally she asked, "If Rose were here tonight, what would you want her to know?" His eyes closed, shoulders trembling. That her father never stopped trying. That love doesn't end just because life broke. Her throat ached. He reached into his coat, pulled out a folded slip of paper, edges soft from handling. Every Christmas I write her a letter, he said, even if I can't send it, even if she never reads it. I write it because she deserves to know she's remembered. He unfolded it with shaking hands and read. The words were simple. Snowflakes he wished she could catch. Lullabies he still hummed at night. Memories of her laughter echoing like bells. He told her that no matter where she slept, her father's heart was always her home. By the time his voice trailed off, Evelyn's tears were sliding unchecked. When he lowered the letter, ashamed, she whispered, she would feel your love in every word. He looked at her then, and for the first time, did not look away. Midnight bells chimed outside. Daniel stood, slipping the letter back into his coat. He gathered the mitten and toy car, thanked her softly for the cocoa, and turned toward the door. But Evelyn's chest ached with the thought of him walking back into the freezing dark. "Come with me," she said. He stilled. "Why?" She hesitated, only a heartbeat. Then, voice unarmored, "Because no one should be alone tonight." Her townhouse was immaculate, filled with garlands and light. Yet every room was hollow, echoing wealth without laughter. Daniel stood at the threshold, dripping snow melt uncertain. She lit a fire. The crackle softened the silence. 2 mugs of cocoa waited on the hearth. She brought down a small ornament, an angel with cracked wings, the only thing her late mother had given her before vanishing from her life. She set it gently on the mantel. Daniel stared at it, then slowly placed Rose's mitten beside it. 2 relics of loss, side by side. The silence between them was no longer heavy. It was reverent, like a prayer. Hours passed as they spoke in murmurs. She told him of boardrooms and loneliness, of how success could not warm an empty bed. He told her of Rose's drawings taped to shelter walls, of lullabies hummed into silence. At last she said, "I'll help you find her, whatever it takes." He shook his head, but his eyes softened. "You've already given me something I thought I'd lost, dignity." Christmas morning arrived gently, sunlight spilling through frosted windows. The fire burned low, mugs cold on the table. Daniel had fallen asleep in a chair, the blanket slipping from his shoulders. Peace touched his face, softening the years of strain. Evelyn moved quietly, tucking the blanket closer, her hand brushing his. Her gaze lifted to the mantel. The angel and the mitten rested together, fragile tokens of broken pasts, now side by side like promise. Outside, bells rang. Inside, warmth breathed in silence. She whispered, though he did not hear, "You won't be alone again." And in that vow, the story closed. 2 souls, fractured yet mending, the first spark of love waiting like dawn. And so, beneath the hush of Christmas bells, a millionaire CEO and a broken father discovered the quiet miracle of being seen, of being chosen, of not walking alone. In a mitten and a cracked-winged angel, they found proof that love survives every loss, and that life sometimes grants us a second chance. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who believes in kindness. Subscribe so these small flickers of hope can keep reaching others. For in every story, as in every life, there waits a firelight ready to be rekindled.